Oh, go, yeah. Yeah? Yes. Yeah.
you begin a new work endeavor?
With President Trump after this past weekend, when protesters surrounded the White House, you tweeted this. I'm going to put it up. Just a scared man, afraid, alone. And the president, in the last couple of days, tweeted back at you, grossly incompetent. Question, Mayor, why is it useful, why is it constructive to get in a fight with the President of the United States?
We're not engaged in a fight, but we are engaged in a defense of our city. You know, Chris, that Washington, D.C., we are the nation's capital. We function as a city, county, and state. I act as the county executive, the mayor, and the governor. We're 700,000 tax-paying Americans. And what we saw last week was basically an invasion of our city. Active duty Army troops moved from all points around the country to threaten our autonomy. And what you saw, and I won't have it reduced to a spat, was how I have to defend our taxpayers. And it's sad to say that we would have to defend ourselves against federal forces.
Then, on Thursday, you renamed the area just in front of Lafayette Park. You renamed it Black Lives Matter Plaza. And you have this giant sign painted on 16th Street leading to the White House. Mayor, what's the point there?
Well, it's a mural, Chris, and as you know, in D.C. we have a program called Murals D.C., where we turn all types of expression into beautiful art around our city. And what we commissioned was the Black Lives Matter mural, and it's become a centering point, a place for healing, strategizing, talking, but also redress. Which is a right in America, where citizens from all over the country come to their nation's capital to deliver grievances at the footstep of the people's house.
Interestingly enough, that started another fight, not with the president, but with Black Lives Matter D.C., which said that your mural that you commissioned or approved was a distraction from real policy issues, and they're calling you out, saying that you are increasing funding for policing at the same time that you are cutting funding in D.C. for community intervention programs.
Well, Chris, what I know is public safety in Washington, D.C., and what our needs are in Washington, D.C. And we have invested not a penny more and certainly not a penny less than what we need for safe neighborhoods in our communities. In the same budget proposal that I have in front of my council now, an unprecedented revenue decline because of COVID-19, increases more than 3% in funding for our D.C. public schools. What we also see is a very innovative policing program where we hire D.C. residents, send them to college while they're working for the Metropolitan Police Department. And what that does is it makes us have a force that is diverse, it has more women, it has more D.C. residents, and it will help us create a partnership between police and community.
Finally, I've got about a minute left for this, Mayor. You're also getting criticized by conservatives for the fact that they claim you evicted 200 members of the Utah National Guard from their hotel on Friday morning after they had just pulled an all-night shift protecting your city. Did you evict them? Because the fact is they did have to leave their hotel that day.
Well, Chris, I'm sure you're aware I have no ability to evict anybody from a private hotel. And certainly I think the people of Utah should know this, that their governor and their senators of the United States Army were responsible for making the accommodations for the Utah National Guard and certainly paying the bills. And we did insist that D.C. residents don't pay the bills for troops that we didn't request. But we are certainly happy that the guardsmen were comfortable in downtown hotels. and I understand that the Army has worked out all payment arrangements. So I'm not sure that anybody left anywhere.
Mayor Bowser, thank you. Thanks for taking time out to talk with us, and I hope you have and the city has a more peaceful week this coming week. Thank you, Mayor. Up next, surprising signs of recovery as the country reopens and the unemployment rate drops. We'll ask an influential voice in the financial world, Mohammed El-Arian, what the numbers mean. Coming up, President Trump takes a victory lap after a surprising jobs report shows signs of recovery.
As good as these numbers are, the best numbers are yet to come because so many areas are still closed or very partially closed.
We'll ask investment guru Mohammed El-Arian what's next for the economy.
An urgent need. Holocaust survivors in Israel are in need of your help today. Your gift of $40 will feed a Holocaust survivor during the coronavirus crisis in Israel for a week. Please call 1-800-998-6865 now or go to FOZ.org. Friends of Zion Heritage Center, chaired by the late 9th President of Israel, Shimon Peres, and endorsed by the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is utilizing its campus in Jerusalem to bring urgently needed food to Holocaust survivors. These precious Holocaust survivors cannot be forgotten during this crisis. Please call now, 1-800-998-6865, or go to FOZ.org and feed a Holocaust survivor for a week. Be God's hands of compassion to those in the gravest danger. Call 1-800-998-6865, or go to FOZ.org with your gift of $40.
Fairlife is the milk that gives you more. It's ultra filtered for 50% more protein and 50% less sugar. Bring more to the table with Fairlife ultra filtered milk.
I like Liberty Mutual. They get that no two people are alike. And customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. What do you think?
I don't see it. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
On Modern Family, there are big laughs, nervous laughs. Live, love, laugh. Modern Family Nightly.
Weeknights at 6 on Q13 Fox.
It's never been more important to know what's going on here. What's changed throughout the day, what's opening, and what's still closed. How local decisions will affect your family tomorrow. Stay local with us all night. Q13 News. Join us tonight from 8 to 11:30.
Experts were bracing for the May jobs report Friday, expecting another sharp slide in the economy. But instead, we got something we haven't seen much of the last few months, some good news. A welcome sign for a country reeling from the pandemic and the shutdown. Joining us to dive into the numbers, Mohammed El-Arian, who led PIMCO for years and is now the chief economic advisor at Allianz. Mohammed, instead of the economy losing 8 million jobs, we actually picked up 2.5 million. Instead of the unemployment rate soaring to close to 20%, it actually dropped to 13%. Two questions. How surprised were you by the jobs report on Friday, and what does it mean?
Thanks for having me on, Chris. I was very surprised. This will go down in history as the biggest positive data shock for the markets and the economy. And you saw how surprised the markets were. They surged on Friday, capping a strong week and with the NASDAQ closing at a record high. It was also very surprising to the economists. Not a single one thought that we would create jobs. Everybody expected that the unemployment rate would go up. In terms of what it means, people are still scratching their head. It's some combination of an incredibly resilient economy that's bouncing back, the impact of government measures, including the Paycheck Protection Program, and finally maybe some data distortion. So we can't figure it out yet, but it certainly is good news.
Let me pick up on both sides of that. First of all, there is this talk about a phrase I had never used, that it might be a data head fake, and that we're going to have to wait for next month, for the June numbers, to see if it's really that good. What is that about, the idea of something strange with the data?
So a couple of things. There's a category in there which says staying at home for other reasons than unemployment. It is supposed to capture jury duty. That category has become really big, and if you adjust for it, that's an additional 3 percentage points on the unemployment rate. But that's the second element. Like everybody else, data gatherers are having challenges in these pandemic days. And in mid-May, most of the economy was still shut, so the surveys may be incomplete. So that's what people mean by it could be. I want to stress could. We don't know. It could be a data head fake.
But there are other signs besides the jobs reports that the economy is coming back. Reportedly, 80% of small businesses have reopened. The TSA head count of people coming into the airport, going through security, is 4 times what it was at the low a couple of months ago. Here is a very happy President Trump in the Rose Garden on Friday.
We've been talking about the V. This is better than a V. This is a rocket ship. This is far better than a V.
So are we on a rocket ship that the economy is now headed straight back up?
So all the data, the high-frequency data, you cited some of them, others include mobility, restaurant bookings, they all point to a pickup. What they don't point to, however, is a very sharp V, more like a check mark, Chris. That's what they point to. And that's really important, because the worst thing we can do right now is to relax, is to think the economy is coming back on its own. We don't have to worry about what it's going to look like in the next 6 months, 12 months. There's a lot we can do now to make sure that this recovery is sustainable and it's inclusive and strong.
Well, I want to pick up on that because Republicans in Congress were already questioning the need for another stimulus package, and over the weekend, Larry Kudlow, the president's top economic advisor inside the White House, said that he doesn't think talks with the Senate Republicans about another stimulus package will even start till after July 4th. Do you think that this is the right time to take our foot off the gas pedal?
I wouldn't take our foot off the gas pedal. I would evolve what we're doing. So rather than focus just on relief and very broad relief measures, sending everybody checks, let's have very focused relief measures that focus on the most vulnerable segments, and importantly, do this in a forward way. Secondly, let's ensure
you're not supposed to be doing that, okay?
Encourages people.
No, don't do that, okay?
Let's do things we
No, don't do that, okay?
We need better infrastructure. We need better labor retooling and retraining. Let's take this opportunity to put in place
do that, okay?
Very strong growth.
I'm gonna talk to Craig about it. Don't do that, okay?
The overall unemployment rate went down. The unemployment rate for blacks actually went slightly up, 0.1% to 16.8%. And you